What is up, crypto hackers? Welcome back to another episode of Hack Crypto, where we hack our cryptocurrency, blockchain, NFT, and metaverse education. If you guys are brand new here, slap a like on this video. If you like this content, helps get this video out to more people. And on this episode, I sit down with my friend Seth Estrada, aka Mineyourbiz. We've been friends for a few years now. We've seen a lot come and go in these bear markets and bull markets, but I sit down with him. We talk a little bit about my background. I kind of probe a little bit on his thoughts on some things. We talk about the Ethereum merge towards the end that's coming up in September. So really cool conversation to sit down with Seth and talk through some of my history as the person being interviewed. And I wanted to get this out on my channel as well. All the links to Seth's channel will be in the description below, so show him some love. So without further ado, let's dive into my chat here with Seth Estrada.
I'm very pleased to be joined by my good friend. I guess you may know him as Hack Crypto. You may know him as Steve McGarry. I just call him Steve. But yeah, Steve, welcome to the channel.
Thanks for having me. It is great to be here in this new home.
Thanks. I know. It's the crazy thing about virtual spaces is we're like, I still kind of feel like I'm looking at a webcam and talking into a mic. Doesn't matter if I have a digital avatar or, augmented reality. Yeah. But yeah, nevertheless, somehow we keep growing, right? The revolution continues. But Steve, right. I'm so glad that you had a chance to carve out some time. We've been threatening to do some collab media for a while. And I mean, gosh darn it, we made it happen. We're here. Look at us. This is great.
We're here.
We're here. Questions that my audience is going to be interested to know about Steve McGarry, aka Hack Crypto, aka the various other names that you go by and the various other hats that you wear. Tell the Mineyourbiz audience about Steve in a nutshell, maybe in 30 seconds.
Yeah, sure. So I majored in economics in college, and after that, I was walking through Cambridge, Massachusetts, and saw a sign that said Magic Internet Money. That was the wizard, and it was all messed up, and it was the early Bitcoin meetups that were happening in Boston, and went there, met a bunch of people, caught the bug, started a company, moved to San Francisco. That was a peer-to-peer lending company because I really liked the concept of peer-to-peer. And after diving deep into Bitcoin, really thought that peer-to-peer was the way to go. That company exited. I sold it to Max Levchin's company, Affirm, the consumer finance company, in 2015. After that, dove fully into crypto and was obsessed with everything that was peer-to-peer. Really loved the concept of staking when that really started taking off. A lot of DPoS concepts, masternodes, all that good stuff. Got heavily into content creation, just like the man, the myth, the legend right here interviewing me, Seth. I got into that because my parents were asking questions, actually, about what crypto was. And I said, okay, well, I'll make you a short little video on my iPhone. And that turned into YouTube, and just started making a lot of content about basics around the crypto economics of different projects, and just talking about the basics to describe how it works. And that kind of grew, started a company that became the 8th largest landowner in Sandbox, fast forwarding to 2021. And started a company last year called Sandstorm, and that is what I am the co-founder and CEO of today.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so awesome. First off, I think you might be the only person in the current sort of crypto content creator cohort, that was some fun alliteration, that previously had a successful tech startup and exit in Silicon Valley. I might be off, but you might be the only person that fits that description. So it's a rare treat getting to hear from you, getting to see that basically you started your content creation journey on a whim. I wasn't aware of that your parents were the reason that you were like, okay, you need to explain why I don't have a job or a real job. That's awesome. As you know, we can go off on a really big tangent on this interview if we're not really careful here. But to keep to the main thing, let's talk more about Steve and Hack Crypto. That was kind of the point of no return for you then, was figuring out that whole like, okay, peer-to-peer is there's real need here, and there's real cause and means for disruption here. And it seems like that's kind of what's kept you in, is the prospect of it being, I don't want to say for a little guy, but for normal people to just benefit on both sides, right? To be a benefactor and to be a beneficiary on the other side of a given transaction. What have been some big wins and milestones that you've hit both from that first endeavor, now getting into Sandstorm and some of the stuff that you've been working on more recently, what are some things that make you really proud of your time in crypto so far?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important to always look back, and like you said earlier, tech is moves so quickly that often you just sort of say like, "Oh, that happened," and then move on to the next thing, and you don't really give yourself a pat on the back or do any sort of celebratory dance. And I think that there's a lot that has gone on that I am proud of, but I do kind of always go back to just the basics of educating people. Like, how many people have I gotten to actually get a Ledger wallet? Like, how many people have I actually onboarded into the space and that sort of enjoys talking to me about it on a regular basis? And that, from a personal level, was always really important to me because that's kind of how I started, with like my parents asking me questions about how to get in. So that's in the hundreds of people that, I've manually onboarded. But from a business perspective, I think a lot of this is around the education, because I've been obsessed with education, as I just mentioned, for a very long time. So proud of the people I've helped onboard into the space, and met a lot of really great friends like yourself throughout the years, where we've all been sort of tight knit in a way. But yeah, proud of the network, the people I've onboarded, and the new company.
Awesome. Okay, so it sounds like, yeah, the through line is that it's always been for the culture, which is, it's phenomenal, man. You haven't sold out yet. Good for you. It still has a soul. Steve still has a soul. Audience, there you go. That's the good news from this interview. So I guess the last couple of questions would just be like, what are some upcoming big dates? Maybe not just for Sandstorm, but for anything else that you have in development right now, things that you're excited about that, as of the time of recording, would be in the future for the audience to look forward to. What are some things that you think that you will be proud of in the future?
Yeah. Yeah. So part of what we're trying to do with Sandstorm, with connecting brands and builders in the metaverse, is we're partnering with virtual world platforms, and the open metaverse being what's on chain. Like, you have things like Minecraft and Roblox that have existed for a very long time, but there's no sense of ownership within those worlds. And now, with everything on chain, we're focusing on these sort of decentralized kind of open metaverses. So we're partnering directly with these worlds, and we're going through grant systems. We just got a $120,000 grant from Decentraland to help builders create assets within there. So we're giving away $10,000 a month to create assets in there through contests. We're also giving away 10,000 sand a month because we're partnered with Sandbox. So $20,000 a month going out to people to learn how to build and, create their Sandstorm profiles, share their work. And I think there's a couple more virtual worlds that we're working on that we are going to announce big partnerships with this year, that some people may know, some may not. And it's not going to come out until Q4 of this year, but those are going to be big, I will say, because it's going to be, with this open metaverse concept, everyone needs content created for it. And there's big budgets going into that. So if you are watching this and you want to learn, definitely there's a lot of opportunity coming to the open metaverse through grants and things like that we have. But I would say next 3 months, we're going to be announcing a couple more of those big partnerships to basically pay people to create assets and participate in creation.
That's awesome. Well, I might be front running by showing this interview to my kids first. So, audience, you've been warned. Like, sorry, there's a 12-year-old somewhere that's hungrier than you. Just deal with it, I guess. So, like, get jokes aside. I don't know, like, if that factors into the business model, whatever else. But since that's coming up, potential for really big announcements in Q4 of 2022. I'm looking forward to it for sure. For the audience's benefit, Steve hasn't divulged any kind of like insider information to me. I was joking before about front running. I don't know who these groups are, and I mean, he's keeping his fiduciary obligations straight by not talking to just friends about it. So like, yeah, like yeah, you have to say this stuff in today's world. Like, otherwise people are like, well, it's more insiders getting ready to dump on us. No, it's not what's happening right now. But that's really exciting. I'm looking forward to hearing those announcements. I'll get them the same time everybody else in the audience does, so I'll be tuning in. But the big question is, where in the world, where in the web should we go to tune into these announcements? And is there anything else we should do when we get there?
Yeah, so sandstorm.co is the website, and you can go on there. You can get verified if you go through like a quick 3 or 4 step process to be a builder. And once you're verified, it's the URL is nft.sandstorm.co.
Okay, so audience, also for your benefit, everything that Steve just told you to go and check out will be available as a convenient link in the description of this video, so you can just click and check that stuff out. Steve, I really appreciate your time. Let me ask you one last thing. Was there a question that I should have asked that I didn't?
Is there a question you should have asked that you didn't? I think the question you should have asked but didn't was, do I think the Ethereum merge is going to happen? And I do. I do. I think it'll happen, but do I think it'll happen next month or this month? I don't know.
Ooh, all right. So casting some doubt. I'm gonna. Now I kind of feel like I need to delay this video until after September 15th, just to see how it plays out. And jokes aside, like, they have a specific number of hashes left on the mainnet before the beacon chain is scheduled to happen. The merge is scheduled to happen. So I think, you and I both know blockchains aren't like metronomes. They're not perfect timekeeping machines. So does that mean September 15th exactly? No, but I think it will be mid-September. I think it's going to be pretty close. I think they're going to hold themselves to that date, and I think that a lot of the ICO bag holders, they have been reeing for years, right, at the core developers at Ethereum to be like, all right, get us the proof of stake. We want the security rewards. We want the consensus rewards. Get the miners out of here. So I think they're not just saying this to say it. I think it really is on track, and I think that this thing is, it's on rails. End of the line is coming really soon. Like, it's just gonna happen sometime mid-September is my take on it.
Yeah, and you gotta love the hype in the space, even after such a big collapse. You gotta love it. You gotta love the momentum.
Yeah, 100%. Awesome. Well, Steve, thanks so much for your time. Audience, check out all the links that Steve mentioned before. Follow him, of course, directly on Twitter, and the other links that you see to his YouTube channels down in the description of this video.
That's it for my sit-down interview with Mineyourbiz, Seth Estrada. Awesome guy. Definitely check out the links in the description to his channel. Really cool conversation. I really like going through some of the things that are coming up in the space, as well as, some of the things that we're building at Sandstorm. Super pumped for everything we're doing, and all the links to Sandstorm will be in the description below. So check that out as well. I'm going to try and do more uploads over the coming months here about Sandstorm. So I will let you guys know more about that as it comes out, and I will see you on the next episode here on Hack Crypto.